All right, folks, I'm going to show you how I set up and anchor my boat for fishing. I use a double anchor system. What that means is I pick where I'm going to anchor, and I put an anchor off the front and I put an anchor off the back. There's a couple of tricks to it that I'm going to show you in this video, some stuff to keep in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to idle over here to where I want to get set up at, and I'll go through the steps with you. Now in a future video, I'll put one out. It's a little more on precision anchoring and getting your boat exactly where you want it. But for now, this is just a basic walkthrough method for doing a double anchoring system. You can do it with a single anchor if you have current. Just putting out a single anchor off the bow. If you've got current's usually enough to pull you straight and pull you into place without using two anchors. But when you're on a reservoir or any place without current, putting one out the back is a good way to keep the boat from swinging back and forth. You know, it pulls our lines together into a pile. It creates just a big old nasty mess. We all hate it. You all know what we're talking about. So what we'll do is we'll get set up here. I'll go through the steps and I'll show you some little things to keep in mind that will make this whole system work a lot better for you. Now, once you kind of get into an area where you want to anchor up at, you're going to want to bring the boat to basically a neutral speed. Go to the bow. You don't want it moving forward. You don't really want it moving too fast going backwards, and you're going to get your anchor in the water. Now, I use a NeverLost anchor. This is their stainless steel version. It's got a piece of chain on it, which I think is a plus. Biggest thing is it's got a zip tie right here that if you get stuck and this part of the anchor is pulling against something, you pull it in the opposite direction that you were anchored in and it will break that zip tie. So it's a good way to get your anchor back, that way it's pulling off the back. What we're going to do is just chunk it in the water right here. Now what I'll do here is I'll put my boat into reverse and get the boat going back in the opposite direction of the bow. We're just going to go backwards. Don't have to go fast. Usually I just knock it in gear, get it moving. You're going to see the anchor line going out up here. I'm just going to let it pay on out. Get that baby out to about right there. I'm going to let it sit right there. Come back here to the back. We'll talk in a second about how much anchor rope to put out, but now I'm going to put out my back anchor. This is just a small anchor. I've got a buoy here to retrieve my anchor line in case I have to toss it. We'll talk about that in a second. And this one is just a simple little anchor. You can do this with weight or a simple anchor like this. And I'm going to chunk it out the back too. Done. Boom. What I'll do is come up here, tie it off to the cleat. Boom, boom, boom. I can come back up here, shut the motor off. And now what I will do is just pull this line tight, pulling in the line until that back anchor line pulls tight. You kind of look back and watch it. You'll see it pull tight. You don't want to pull on it hard, hard, hard. That one in the back will start to dig in. Boom. You can tie this off. I've got this cool little cleat here on the front that eliminates having the tiny knots, which is really nice. All right, so how much anchor line do you put out? Well, off the bow, the general rule of thumb is for every foot of water, you put out 7 feet. So if you're in a foot of water, you put out 7 feet. 2 feet of water, 14 feet. 3 feet of water, 21 feet. 4 feet of water, 28 feet. So that's kind of a rule of thumb. Obviously, it depends on how much wind you've got, how much current you got. 1 to 7 is kind of the accepted number. You know, you can go less, or if you're in some really swift current, you may want to go more. Obviously, if you get in some deep water, you're going to need a lot of anchor rope to make that happen. Here, sitting in relatively calm current, hardly any wind, I don't need out that much. I probably got out way more than I need. The chain helps a lot. Having chain, especially on the bow anchor, the one that is going to be out into the current, into the wind, that one definitely chain helps dig that anchor in. Another thing is, when possible, you always want to anchor with your bow into the wind, into the current. You never want to anchor with your stern, the transom, into current or into the wind, because if you start getting waves, you start getting some big wave action, it's easy to swamp a boat that way. Waves can start coming in, you're pinned down by your anchor. It's another good reason to have that poly ball that I got, that I showed you. Better Boat makes those things. I'll put you a link in the description in case you should get in trouble and have to throw an anchor. Say you're in a river and a large tree comes floating by and you have to get off that anchor quickly, or a barge is running too close to you. You can untie that anchor, throw that poly ball into the water, get the heck out of the way, and then go back and get your anchor. Or if you're really lucky and you're chasing a fish, you can throw that anchor, go chase that fish, and go back and pull your anchor back up. So those poly balls come in very handy. They're very affordable. Betterboats.com. I'll give you a betterboat.com. I'll give you a link to it. You can check it out. Here's a close-up look at that poly ball from betterboat.com. Not super huge. You can see next to me how big it is. They also serve as a real good bumper on the side of the boat. What I do is just take your line through there. Just put you a basic overhand knot on it like that. Little slip knot, it'll slip down tight. And what I like to do, I like to take a zip tie, put it around there just to make sure nothing slips, nothing does anything crazy. Coming out of there, we'll cut that off. And boom, you're set to go. I just toss this in the bottom of the basket that I keep my anchor rope in, and it's good to go. And like I said, if I need to throw it over the side of the boat, if I'm pulling up to another boat or something like that, it's great. The other thing that's nice about these things is they're highly visible. So if you're out there in some wave action, these things really stick out. Or if you have to go a long way, I've been down at the coast before fishing and had to chase sharks for a mile, mile and a half. It's a long way back to that buoy. It all looks the same when you're in the ocean. These things really stick out. All right, so you saw it there. It's kind of step by step. What I'm gonna do is pull into another spot, and I'm just gonna show you my POV of what's going on. I'm gonna go through the entire sequence, and you can kind of see what I do, what I see from my perspective, and that should give you a good handle on just what you need to do to anchor a boat up solidly with 2 anchors for fishing in a place where you don't have any current. All right, guys, we're going to pull up here kind of where I want to anchor. I'm kind of looking at my sonar, getting where I want to be. What I'm going to do is just throw the boat into neutral. I'm going to coast up a little bit closer, and then what I will do is just bump it into reverse. Go up here, chunk the anchor, let it start paying out some line. I'm gonna run it through that little cleat there. Running out some line. What I will do is now throw it into neutral. Now that's probably the unsafe way to do it. You really should get it going back, take it out of gear, but if you got somebody with you, that's not a bad practice. And what I'm gonna do is slow the boat down now till it's not moving. I got out probably 75 feet of line pretty quickly. I'll come back here to the back, chunk my back anchor. And I'm only in, like I said, about 5-6 feet of water. We'll tie it off here. I can kill the motor now. And all I do is come back up here and just pull this line tight. Pull that tight, and I can look back, see my back line. I will pull it until the back line pulls tight. And again, it's dug in pretty good. Boom, right there. You can tell I'm getting resistance. So just run that through there, and boom. And that's kind of it, guys. Obviously, with your back anchor, you can pull it tighter if you need to. But this is a great way to cut down on just how much boat sway you got. It's not perfect, but it's a great way to make it a little less frustrating out here from having that boat swinging back and forth.